So when we launched, we had a very modest goal. We thought if we could get 300 members who were paying $20 a month, that'd be $6,000 in recurring revenue, right? So I thought, that'd be pretty awesome. I mean, just kind of as a test. Well, the truth is, we signed up 1,100 people in that initial launch. So right there, over $20,000 a month in recurring revenue. Blew my mind. I mean, at that point I thought, oh my gosh, this is gonna be incredible. This is gonna work. I'm Michael Hyatt. My website is michaelhyatt.com, and I'm the founder of Platform University. Yeah, so for a long time I worked in the publishing industry, and I was the CEO of a very large publishing company, Thomas Nelson Publishers, and decided that I wanted to pursue my dream of writing and speaking full-time, which was awesome that I could do that. And I liked it for about 6 months, but the traveling was brutal. And so I was speaking 60, 70, 80 times a year, running from one airport to the next, and it was exhausting. I think it affected Gail, my wife, some, because she didn't like to see me traveling so much. She tried to go when she could, but you know, we've got kids and grandkids and all the family around us, and so she didn't want to be apart from them. So she was torn, but we were definitely spending less time together. Even then, when I was in the corporate world, we were spending less time because I was on the road so much. I don't think I really had a solution. You know, I was just trying to be a good soldier and trying to work on my attitude and show up with a smile on my face and do my very best. But if it hadn't been for this kind of random meeting that I had with McLaren, who talked to me about the possibility of starting a membership site, I think I was just kind of resigned to this life of continuing to do what I was doing and not being that happy with it. Yeah, well, when Stu was talking to me, it was after a speaking engagement, and I was exhausted. And so when he started talking about the idea of making a residual income stream, sort of passive income, that would be from a membership site, suddenly I found new energy. I got excited about that because for the first time I thought, wow, I could still have a similar impact to what I'm having on the road, but not have to travel. I could still engage with people. I could still enjoy the transformative impact, you know, of a message well delivered. But I didn't really have to leave my home in Nashville. It wasn't clear when Stu and I first met what the topic or the subject matter of the membership site would be, because I blog on a lot of things about productivity, leadership, platform building, and so we talked about a lot of possibilities. And I think initially even we left that meeting thinking it might be something around leadership, but I had a book that had just hit the New York Times list about a month before we met called Platform Get Noticed in a Noisy World. So that was the obvious flagship that would raise visibility for the site if we built it around that. Plus, I was getting absolutely inundated with emails and pings on social media, people wanting me to follow up or elaborate with them on things that I talked about in the book, and it was overwhelming. I mean, I couldn't do that and be on the road at the same time, so I thought, wow, a membership site could solve my problem of being on the road all the time, but could also solve problems for people at a mass level that I couldn't do if I was speaking 7 days a week. So that got me excited too. Yeah, initially I was really worried, wondering if we had enough content. And Stu kept assuring me, he said, you got tons of content. You know, you've got books, you've got all this content you've done on your site. But I kept thinking, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to come up with this original content every single week. But that wasn't the case. What I found was that you can really repurpose the same content, and it's extremely rare when somebody says, oh, that's just that blog post you did a while back. You know, that's just amplified on that. It's not the case. Now all of a sudden you fleshed it out. It's now in 3D. You're presenting it on video. So it has a whole new meaning for them. Plus they're in a different place than they were before. One of the things I didn't count on was how much the members would help the other members. In fact, I really had to intentionally pull back my involvement from that because I was in the forums initially answering questions. And what that did was it created a kind of dependency on me that I don't think was healthy. And now what we have is tons of specialists, people that know some of these areas far better than I'll ever know them, offering their expertise in a way that really provides practical help for people. My membership site today is one of the major revenue sources, obviously, of the entire business. The thing I loved about it is that it's provided a steady, stable stream of income. So that, you know, if you go out and speak, that's great, but if you stop working, then the money dries up. Same thing with book royalties, you know, or any of the other kinds of things that you can do. But the thing about this kind of residual passive. It's not really passive income because you still have to do some work, but it's more passive than getting out there and speaking for sure. But it's really given the stability to the business that gives me the confidence to go out and develop and experiment with other products.
You did awesome, buddy. Thank you.
Stu brought several things to me. One of the things, and the most important thing, was the possibility that a completely different business model existed. One that I didn't really even know was possible. I would have never stumbled on it on my own, but because he showed up at exactly the right time in the right place and gave me the vision for that, it changed my thinking from that point forward. And then working with him on an ongoing basis, when I had doubts, just his experience and his positivity and his confidence that no, I could do this. And so that it was worth doing scared because Stu believed in me, because Stu had the confidence in this business model. And I think for anybody that's considering doing a membership site, this is not just him in an ivory tower thinking up stuff that'll work. But this comes after working with hundreds and hundreds of clients, seeing all different kinds of membership sites, people with all different kinds of gifts, all different kinds of models, and this stuff really works. If I had not started my membership site, I don't know where I'd be today. I'd be tired, I tell you that. You know, I'd be tired of being on the road. I'd be frustrated. I have people come up to me now, other speakers, when I do get out and speak, well-known speakers, that'll come up and whisper in my ear, I need to figure out how to do what you did because this is killing me. The stress I have today is a fraction of what I had when I was running through airports, trying to make flights, sleeping in beds that weren't my own, and all the rest that goes with travel. So today my life looks like I get to work at about 9 o'clock in the morning after having worked out, after having spent time reading and doing other things in my morning routine. I always knock off by about 5:30. And so I've got the evenings with my family. Usually one of the kids comes over for dinner, or Gail and I go out and have dinner. Weekends are always free. It's a totally different life. I mean, this is what I signed up for, I thought, and now I really get to experience it.